Hello and welcome here to TC Sport, and after 16 long years, Leeds United are going to be a Premier League club once again. The Yorkshire Giants have won the Championship and will be playing in the top flight of English football next season for the first time since 2004. Marcelo Bielsa has completely transformed the club and is adored at Elland Road, but where were he and his promotion winning players 5 years ago? ILLAN MESLIER, Lorient Academy. Still pretty much just a baby, ILLAN MESLIER was just 15 years old 5 years ago, learning his craft in the Lorient Academy, no doubt dreaming of one day playing in front of thousands of screaming Yorkshiremen whilst being watched by an eagle-eyed man on a bucket. MESLIER was just on loan until the end of the season, but it's now confirmed that he'll be staying at Elland Road permanently, agreeing a 3-year deal this week. KIKO, Real Madrid. A man who was banned for 8 games this season for racially abusing Charlton's Jonathan LECH, KIKO rejoined Real Madrid 5 years ago for €6 million after being released by them way back in 2007. And that's the only time I'm going to give him in this video. Luke AYLING, Bristol City. We've got our first example of a player who's been transformed by Bielsa, and a man who's come a long way in 5 years' time. He joined Leeds in 2016, and the year prior he was awaiting his return to the Championship with Bristol City, having secured promotion from League One and scoring 4 goals along the way, just like this season surprisingly. This will be Ayling's first proper season in the Premier League, where he'll get the chance to test himself against his first ever club, Arsenal. Ben White, Brighton Academy. The meteoric rise of Ben White has been a sight to behold in recent years, and whether or not Leeds won promotion, he was going to be playing in the Premier League next season. That's because he's only on loan at Leeds, meaning he's due to return to Brighton as soon as the season ends. Leeds fans will no doubt be desperate to sign White permanently, but you'd imagine Graham Potter plans to use him himself, and White would no doubt relish the chance to play for the club who signed him at their academy back in 2012. That's where White was 5 years ago, with the professional debut coming in August 2016. Liam Cooper, Leeds United. Another player who's taken his game to a completely different level under Marcelo Bielsa, Liam Cooper probably never thought he'd play in the Premier League again since his Hull days, and I imagine he wants to forget all about it since his full debut, a 6-1 hammering off Liverpool back in 2009. But 5 years ago he just completed his first season with Leeds United, having signed from Chesterfield a year earlier. They finished 15th that season in a campaign where Leeds had 3 different managers. Christ, typical Leeds. GAETANO BERARDI, Leeds United. Just like Cooper, 5 years ago Berardi was finishing his first season as a Leeds player, and it was an interesting one to say the least. He would get sent off on his debut, then spent most of the time flipping from right back to left back. That kind of versatility and attitude was epitomised Berardi's time at Elland Road, which is exactly why he's a fan's favourite. However, his time at the club might be winding down. His deal is set to expire at the end of the season, and with Berardi out for the next 9 months due to injury, who knows whether the red card merchant will get to stay at Leeds for the Premier League adventure. Barry Douglas, LECH Poznan. 5 years ago, Barry Douglas was scoring in a Champions League qualifier for LECH Poznan after winning the double, because for some reason he was playing his football in Poland and then subsequently Turkey. But a move to Wolves reignited his career back in the UK, and he's now a 2-time Championship winner. Hopefully for his sake he actually gets a chance to test himself in the Premier League, or if he joins another Championship club they've probably got a really good chance of promotion. Stuart Dallas, Brentford. Transformed into a competent fullback by Marcelo Bielsa, Stuart Dallas has played here, there and everywhere in a Leeds shirt, but from next season he'll be playing in the Premier League. But 5 years ago his Leeds journey was yet to begin. At the time of recording, Dallas was still with Brentford and scored 6 league goals in his first season in the Championship with the Bees. But come August 2015 he would join Leeds for £1 million and currently has a deal there until 2023. EZGJAN ALIOSKI, Schaffhausen. Now this man's come a long way in 5 years. I'd never even heard of the club he was playing for. While at Leeds he's gone from a flamboyant winger to an astute defender, all the while still wearing the number 10 shirt, 5 years ago ALIOSKI was playing for Schaffhausen, who were and still are a second division side in Switzerland. Back then he was actually a defender, but it was at Lugano. Wasn't he as tough as balls Uruguayan centre back, where he played further up the pitch and caught the eye of Leeds' transfer maestro Victor Orta. Jamie Shackleton, Leeds United Academy. Since Bielsa became manager, local lad Jamie Shackleton's been living the dream, playing professional football for his boyhood club under one of the most famous managers around, wearing the number 46 shirt as if it's some sort of Valentino Rossi tribute act. To be fair, he's probably got no clue who Rossi is. He's the motorbike rider Jamie, not the croc who used to be up top for your rivals. 5 years ago, Shackleton was just 15 years old in the Leeds Academy, spending his days off updating his MySpace profile and watching the Rugrats. KALVIN PHILLIPS, Leeds United. If there's one man who deserves to be in the Premier League, it's KALVIN PHILLIPS. He's been wonderful in recent years, and under Bielsa there's been even talk of him getting into the England squad. and it all could have been so different had he joined Aston Villa last summer. But in the end he stayed with his boyhood club and played a key role in finally getting them back to the top. Last time Leeds were in the Premier League, Phillips was just 8 years old, and 5 years ago he'd only just made his first team debut. Now he's going to be a Premier League player with the club he supports, living everyone's dream and loving every minute. Adam Forshaw, Middlesbrough. If Leeds hadn't won promotion, there'd be an angry mob of people outside Adam Forshaw's house right now, as it was him who nearly jinxed the whole thing and said they'd romp the league. But in the end he was right, and the midfielder will get another chance in the Premier League, having previously been there with Borough and Everton. But 5 years ago Forshaw was still in the Championship, having just completed his first half a season at the Riverside, losing in the playoff final at Norwich City. MATEUSZ KLICH, KAISERSLAUTERN. Victor Orta has dropped some clangers in the transfer window. Christ, we could drag a 10-minute video out of it with all the duds he signed, and KLICH was one of them until Bielsa arrived. Since then he's pretty much played every week, but 5 years ago the Polish midfielder was playing his football in Germany, playing in the second tier for Kaiserslautern. Now he's set for the Premier League while playing the best football of his career, and I can't wait to see one of his trademark 30-yard rockets in the top flight. Jack Harrison, Berkshire. The winger is all set for a third season on loan at Leeds from Man City, where he's on course to complete the American dream, going from the amateur ranks of America all the way to the self-proclaimed greatest league in the world. Just ignore the fact he's actually from Stoke. But 5 years ago Harrison wasn't even an MLS player. He was playing his football in Berkshire, and in February 2015 Harrison won the Gatorade Player of the Year award after getting 16 goals and 27 assists before agreeing a scholarship to play for Wake Forest. That gave him his route to the MLS draft, which eventually brought him back to England. Don't know about you, sounds a bit long-winded, bit of a faff on. Helder Costa, Monaco on loan. £16 million is how much it's cost Leeds to sign Helder Costa permanently, but that's the kind of money you've got to pay now you're a Premier League club. Costa's had a curious career at the age of 26, and 5 years ago he was technically still a Benfica player. The only issue is he spent most of his time there out on loan, and 5 years ago was no different. The winger joined Monaco on July 10, 2015, where he played for a year alongside greats such as Bernardo Silva and Kylian Mbappe, all the while soaking up the luxurious Monaco sun. But sure, Leeds on a rainy day playing alongside Patrick Bamford's great too. Pablo Hernandez, Al-ARABI. Despite being 35 years old, Pablo Hernandez is looking better than ever, making Swansea fans watch on and wonder why on earth did he leave us all those years ago to chase a paycheck. 5 years ago Hernandez was playing for Al-ARABI in Qatar, but to be honest he didn't stay there long. By the end of the summer transfer window in 2015 he was back in Spain with Rayo Vallecano, and a year later he would join Leeds. Maybe he didn't like the food in Qatar or something, I don't know. Tyler Roberts, West Brom Academy. Often the link between midfield and attack, Tyler Roberts has already got Premier League experience under his belt, making a grand total of 1 appearance for West Brom back in 2016. Obviously 5 years ago he was still part of the West Brom Academy at the age of 16, and he'd already been on the bench for a Premier League game. He'd be praying that's not where he is next season as well. Patrick Bamford, Crystal Palace on loan. One of the most criticised strikers in all of England, lest we forget that Patrick Bamford has still scored 16 goals this season. The only thing is, with the chances he's missed it could have been 30. But Bamford gives a lot more to Leeds than goals, which is a good thing considering he's only ever scored once in the top flight. 5 years ago Bamford was still part of the brutal Chelsea loan cycle and had just joined Crystal Palace for the year, ready for his first chance in the Prem after scoring 17 for Borough in the Championship the year before. It didn't work out at Palace for Bamford, but he's not the first and he won't be the last striker to struggle at Selhurst Park. Hello Christian Benteke and Marouane Chamakh. And finally Marcelo Bielsa, Marseille. And finally we come to the genius of the operation and one of the most heralded managers in all of football. Pep Guardiola loves him, Maurizio Pochettino loves him, and now every single person associated with Leeds United Football Club loves him as well, from Jamie Lannister to Neville Longbottom. Bielsa has brought Leeds back from the dead, but 5 years ago things were very different. The Argentine was manager of Marseille and had just completed his first season in charge, but after the first game of season 2 he resigned. After that he had very brief spells at Lazio and Lille, suggesting that maybe the magic had gone. But at Leeds is a hero once again. From Spygate to sitting on his bucket to baking cakes for fans, Marcelo Bielsa will forever go down as a legend at one of the biggest clubs in English football. So there we have it, that's where Leeds United's title winners were 5 years ago. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Will Leeds do well in the Premier League or are they destined for relegation? As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to HITC Sport. You can follow me on Twitter, I'm at HITCJames, and until next time we'll see you around.